Volker is currently team lead digital solution at EOS in Germany. And EOS is one of the leading companies in 3D printing. So welcome, Volker. You will speak today not only about one key trend, but actually about two. You will speak about XR, which means augmented reality and virtual reality in combination with artificial intelligence. I think that's a very interesting and future-oriented combination. You will also speak about how we can avoid and eliminating manual processes and be disruptive. And your third point, also that one is very interesting. You will speak about a global scenario where knowledge and learning finds people and not vice versa, as we did that in the last 20 years. So I warmly welcome you, Volker, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for your introduction, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, so I've seen you all everywhere in the world. Yes, so we have a very interesting group of attendees. And I'm like Daniel said, I'm coming here from EOS, and I'm part of the Additive Minds Academy. And we created an educational program. So I joined EOS 2.5 years ago, and what you see here and what I will present to you really happened over the last 2.5 years. So from scratch, yes. So this is what I said in my introduction and what I will show you in my presentation. So even here, the learning passes, yes, and everything else. So a lot of things happened during the last 2.5 years. So let's go. I now share my screen. Here we go. So that you have the focus here on my screen. And how to create an XR and AI supported future-driven training learning knowledge setup from scratch. Yes, so when I joined EOS, I thought, okay, you're coming to a disruptive company, which is since 30 years. Oh, yes, I just have to mention and win some awards. Yes, so the Augmented Reality Award 2021. And still not announced, but it will be soon the Best Project 2021. So really proud to receive these awards, and more about this you will read in the near future. So like I said, I'm team lead digital solutions. If you want to contact me afterwards, you see my email, or you can find me on LinkedIn, and let's grow the expert network. So EOS is 30 years in the additive manufacturing, 3D printing, industrial 3D printing, a lot of knowledge to be told regarding materials, metal and polymer systems, regarding software to use. And then we have the area of additive minds, where the consultants talk about how to prepare your data, what you have to do to print parts in polymer or in metal. And it's unfortunately not so easy just to hit a print button, but it could be easy with our training and learning. So our mission statement at the Additive Minds Academy is to build up and transfer additive manufacturing knowledge so people can start forming a sustainable and human future. Yes, a lot of things. And knowledge and additive manufacturing technology comes to disruption. So we have the paths of knowledge, yes, and you have school education, adult education, lifelong learning, reskilling, yes, and then you have the disruptive learning with learning paths, with individual learning. And then you have the technology, yes, return on investment. Over the time, you have more and more productivity and less technology investment. And if you bring together the two lines going up, yes, then you have the disruption. So my role have been just to take this switch, yes, and bring it from analog to digital. And so there are three main learning trends I will talk about. So number one is everything, anytime, and anywhere. So not depending on your place of birth, money, or politics. Yes, you can have access to these digital materials. You don't have to drive, to fly, to go somewhere. You can learn on your own speed and on your own background. And the pace and the speed intensity of learning will be customized and highly personalized in the future. And the company's capabilities and competitiveness will depend on its ability to engage in collaborative knowledge generation. So digitalization of knowledge and learning have had several steps, even inside EOS and over the last 2.5 years. So before I joined, we have had classroom trainings, 120 days of different training content, remote training, which have been more a little bit web-based, yes, but before Corona, the situation has been quite different. So it has been absolute an influencer. And we have had some video-based training. And I found some outdated 3 courses in a Moodle environment, which not really have been used over the time. So we extended the web-based training and added some extended reality-based training. So you will see some examples afterwards. And in my Speed Geek session, I will show some videos, what we have done in the past. And finally, our goal is to reach the AI-based training. And how it looks like, you will see later on. So starting point have been these 120 classroom training days at Additive Minds and EOS. And first, we said, okay, what are the job roles we are serving? Yes, so we said, okay, we have application engineers, quality engineers, design, AM business and engineers, and support roles. And then we said, okay, what level of knowledge do we have? Yes, so the phases. So basic knowledge, what is knowledge you must have for your role model. Then you have the expert training, and then you have to train the trainer. And so we took all, just have to take away this picture. And we took all learning courses and put them here into this squares. And our first goal have been to have digital content 50% overall. So out of these 120 days, get 60 days as digital content. So we said, okay, now we have the phases and we have the different kind of content. Yes, how could it be transformed? Can we have virtual classroom, knowledge tests, presentations, webinar, etc.? Yes, to gather first experience in phase 1, build up your know-how, deepen your knowledge with training, use your knowledge in daily life, and establish and improve your personal skills. And finally, you will become an expert. So we brought this into a line, and here you see the different colors of different learning types. Yes, and we have seen in the end that more than 75% of the training content became online modules. So we overreached our goal of 50, and in general, this lead it into our ecosystem. So in the beginning, it has been just 5 job roles, and now we have 8 job roles. Yes, and here is the company is at the starting point and says, okay, now I have to educate my people. Yes, and this is our ecosystem, which have been established over the last 2.5 years, and which we are working on in the Additive Minds Academy. And for example, you want to become a system operator. This is your learning path you have to follow. And if you have an addendum, you will become an AM service engineer. Yes, and same is here for AM designer, for example. And then you have to decide if you go for metal or for polymer and follow your learning path. And finally, you become an AM designer. So strategic positioning is first customer and EOS employee onboarding. Yes, so really from scratch, starting having not the most idea of 3D printing, but also upskilling and reskilling, which is very important because we have a lot of people joining the 3D printing and additive manufacturing industry, and they need some upskilling because they have basic skills, but they need some special skills for 3D printing. So we divided it into learning programs, and learning programs have learning paths included. Within the learning paths, we have the learning modules, and the learning modules consist of learning nuggets. And out of this, in August 2020, we started the first e-commerce of EOS. So it started with online training, and now have been added refurbished machines. And next sections will be powder, software, and spare parts. So this, you see, it's not just an internal thing that we have, but you see also external usage of for e-commerce. And here you see, for example, our learning passes, so 80 hours, 72 hours, 67 hours. And each quarter, we will have an additional learning path for the different job roles. And then we have to learn all these individual learning modules. So individualization of learning, you have some basic knowledge, yes, but you want to know more about support and orientation. You want to know what is critical to quality. Yes, so you can take your individual learnings. And finally, we started cooperating with content sharing platforms here in Germany, in the German-speaking area, and offering it to the public. And you see it's here kostenlos. It is free. Everyone can access it. Yes, so it's free of charge. And get some recognition in our industry. And here is a little call for action. So if you know someone who knows industrial-focused content sharing platform outside the German-speaking area, yes, like North America or China or somewhere else in the world, please let me know and just contact me. So this has been the little call for action. And we are member of the EU Tech, which is an environment where you can have a 365 days, 24 hours fair, and there is an academy, so to spread the knowledge of additive manufacturing. And this gives different abilities to have a permanent exhibition, to have different speaking slots, etc. And I was talking about the first wave of developing content. And if you stand in front of the hill of all the manual trainings you have, all these analog trainings, classroom trainings, and first is that you have to make a first version. Yes, like nowadays you work in iterations and say, hey, okay, we just have to transform it, yes, make a digital version out of it and enhance it time after time. So adding artificial intelligence have been in the first iteration from 2019 to 2020, have been AI audio voiceover for our courses, have been AI machine translation and AI actor. Yes, so bring a little bit personalization into the courses, have some consultants talking with you. And within the second iteration in 2021, we use some smart tools. Yeah, smart tools like Lumen 5, which makes some marketing videos or trailer videos, Synthesia for artificial actors, yes, where you can have people speaking the text you want and it looks like humans, or Videosi to have some just intros, outros for all your courses, and you don't have to invest hours and hours for your content. And then now I'm a little bit proud, and you will see it later on in the Speed Geeking session, a little world preview. We will use smarter machine translation with lingo.ai. You see here the first pictures of this environment, and Jaban will tell you more about this one. And not just normal text, but you even can use, for example, XLive, which is a translation format. And you can say, okay, this is my source language, yes, and more interesting is you can even use smart audio voiceover. So you can say, okay, I want to translate this document, but then I also want to have an audio output, yes, and then you even can say, and you see here your line starts, yes, here, like, for example, translation, take Google and make a French translation, and then you get the French output and you can listen to the audio. And what is very interesting, this is in one tool and it is all cloud service based. So you can take the best from every cloud service and say, hey, I want to have this voice and I want to have that voice. So this will bring us in front of very fast translation and bringing our e-commerce store now to North America, and next will be to bring it to China. So next wave of adding artificial intelligence will be iteration 3 and 4, starting in this year the preparation, but in 2022 we will start with AI curated content and skills and competencies management. This really, I will show you at the end the final picture how it will look like. So this will relate into AI-based training. And coming back to the three main learning trends, experience and feel learning, and very important for me, bring learning to the place where you need it. Yes, no distraction of training. So overcoming time zone problems, physical inaccessibilities and other limits, and increase learning efficiency. Sustainability and environmentally friendly learning. So you don't need 20 machines to educate 100 people. Yes, you can do it in your garden. You can do it wherever you want. I will show you some examples afterwards in the Speed Geeking session. And get and feel knowledge and learning in the moment of need with live data and live feedback. So you will have IoT access to the machines. You see the vital data. You are introduced what you have to do. Next 10 steps to change a recoder. Sorry. And so you have training, but you also have remote support. Once you are stuck, someone is looking through your eyes to your problem. Yes, and we are taking here the HoloLens 2 today. Yes, and maybe in 2 years we will take an Apple device. But this gives us the freedom to use it in front of the machines. Yes, and we also have a fallback scenario using it on iPads. And when we started with extended reality, yes, we said, okay, we don't want to build a light tower inside EOS. We want to have the whole company being on board. Yes, and we said, okay, we have service, we have training, consulting, we have marketing, sales, production, HR, and everyone could contribute and benefit from XR. So we made value workshops and said, hey, where can you benefit from? And service said, okay, from remote support, you see PP, but you see also here travel, you see here travel. Yes, you see very often you see remote support, consulting, presentation. So there is really a need inside the company, and due to Corona, it really the pace was enormous. And finally, artificial intelligence in and with extended reality is linking the learning and the working world and bridging the gap between the physical and digital world, including IoT. So this also brings us to the point of quality assurance. So in the past, someone was going to a seminar or training in our facility in Maisach until Friday, having a wonderful weekend and coming back on Monday. Yes, and then he have to introduce the training to his other 3 employees, his colleagues. Yeah, and you can think about that he wouldn't have made 100% training, maybe 20, 30%, depending on the manuals and how good they are. And then you have individualization. You have competence development, you have XR supported performance support and efficiency improvements, time and quality in work processes, because you don't have to wait for a course. You don't have to book a course. You get the knowledge and the training in the moment of need. So this in the end is bringing knowledge and learning together with your work. And another point, unlearning. Yes, you can just forget what you have done because next time you're doing it will be maybe in 6 months. So we started with extended reality and built a roadmap. We made first a little white box test with our easiest machine back in 2019. In 1 year later, we have had the infrastructure and implemented it and have had an onboarding process and creating from there XR applications. Time is too short to show it here inside, but come to my Speed Geeking session. And we received a lot of external awareness. We have been part of a keynote at PTC in front of 9,000 people at that time without Corona, and 50,000 attendees in the web. Yes, and one of our machines have been on the stage and introducing expert capture, where a system is capturing the knowledge from an expert and taking the glasses off, giving it to someone, and he is doing the procedures. And then it was going further, like here, for example, a 3D printed robot arm, which originally is 2 meters high and weighs 1 ton. You can't carry it with you to make a training, but here now you can do it directly via the iPad. And all the questions I see in the chat, I will answer afterwards, and latest one-on-one if you come back to me. So
also 3 minutes to go.
Yes, I'm speeding up. But I started 2 minutes late. Okay. Here's a customer example. Yes, printing orthotics, and it was showing the customer why they printed in 3D, and going on with our easiest machine commissioning. Yes, so customer can do it on its own, and so having examples, having here our application which won the award. Yes, this great one, the eLearning Award for Augmented Reality, together with NetTrack. And working with HoloLens 2, we have virtual meetings, presentations, and showroom tours. Yes, even in onboarding, for example, now someone is going with a HoloLens through the showroom. And with our colleagues in Singapore, we created the M290 XR Basic Training, which will be an app in the iStore, Apple Store, and Android Store in May. So basic training in virtual and extended reality, and Project of the Year award. So XR samples, like said in the video later. And the last trend is knowledge will find you. So adaptive learning is standard, yes, and so we will divide it into snack learning. Yes, you don't have to make a course of 6 hours. You will have learning snacks, and we will take the competencies of our employees, yes, and see, okay, what do they need to come to the next level, yes, and AI will take away all generic and purely logic-based tasks and free our creative mind. So finally, knowledge management with intelligent AI. Yes, this is very important. The self-learning AI, taking our infrastructure, yes, creating bots on one hand, connecting all these knowledge pods, but knowledge finds people. Yes, and we don't have to dig for information because it's pre-selected for my job role, for my knowledge. So connecting these knowledge pools, AI-supported content creation, drive ideation and innovation, and very important, find experts. Yes, I know nearly 3 years ago, when I joined EOS, to find the right people to talk to for different areas. Yes, and this will be easy in the future. So, and to sum up, yes, and coming to the end, from content to competence, skills, and back. So we started with blended learning. Yes, this has been the core. We created the theoretical knowledge of additive manufacturing. Surrounded by augmented reality, you're going into the machine hall, you have all the machines in front of you, you get the information and learning in the moment of need. Then you have knowledge management. You have a problem, yes, and you just enter the information, and then you get the communication from others talking about the same topics. And then you have competence, skills, and knowledge metrics and management. And what is very important, the focus, automatic and AI-generated content and processes. Yes, eliminating all these manual things. Like, for example, I want to learn something, I have to book a course. I have to wait 3 months until I get a training, etc. pp. Speeding up things, yes. When I come back from a training, I get a piece of paper, I send it to HR. No, we don't do this anymore. Yes, because there is no sense behind it. But in focus is the employee, the learner. Yes, he should be driven, and he should be given the best and learning materials.